The scent of roasted chicken and garlic wafted through the air, mingling with laughter and clinking glasses, as the family gathered around the long oak table. In the dim light of the dining room, the soft glow accentuated the smiles on their faces, warm and inviting. I stood at the threshold, watching them, my heart a heavy stone lodged in my chest. They were celebrating a milestone I had once envisioned for myself. My son's promotion, the culmination of years of hard work and sacrifice. I had been the one to guide him, to mold him, to instill in him the values that would lead to this moment. Yet here I was, an outsider, a ghost in the very home I had built, standing in the shadows, invisible to their joy. My hands, calloused from years of labor, trembled slightly as I gripped the doorframe. They didn't know I was there. They didn't know that I was about to shatter their illusion of happiness. I smiled at their celebration dinner, that fake, brittle smile which masked the churning storm within. The laughter rang hollow, a mocking echo of the love I had given, the sacrifices I had made. My son, my flesh and blood, was seated at the head of the table, his laughter the loudest, his smile the brightest. The irony was not lost on me. I had given him everything, only for him to turn it all against me. The betrayal sat heavy on my shoulders, a weight I had carried in silence, festering like an untreated wound. I could still recall the day he had come to me, eyes glistening with ambition. "Dad, I've got this opportunity," he had said, excitement bubbling in his voice. He didn't mention the corrupt notary, the shady deal that would strip me of my home, his home. He had painted a picture of success so vivid that I had believed in him, trusted him, only to discover that he had sold my legacy for a few pieces of silver. I turned away from the scene, forcing myself to breathe, to focus on my plan, a plan that had been taking shape in the shadows of my mind. I had spent sleepless nights devising it, all the while wearing the mask of a broken man, a victim of circumstance. But I was no victim. I was the storm brewing on the horizon, and the time for my reckoning was drawing near. As I stepped away, I felt the air grow heavy with the weight of my resolve. The world outside was darkening, the sun dipping low beneath the horizon, mirroring the descent of my trust into the abyss. I could feel the pulse of my heart synchronizing with the rhythm of my thoughts, each beat a reminder of the power I had yet to unleash. But first, I needed to play my part. I needed to wear the guise of vulnerability, to allow my son and his merry band of celebrants to think they were safe, that they had won. I would let them bask in their false sense of security, let them continue to feed on the spoils of my labor, all while I prepared the ground beneath them to crumble. The police, I would call them, but not yet. The thought simmered in the back of my mind like a pot on the stove, waiting for the right moment to boil over. I could almost hear the sound of sirens echoing in the distance, a symphony of justice that would soon engulf them. But for now, they would continue to celebrate, unaware of the reckoning that awaited them, unaware of the vengeance I had planned. I made my way to the corner of the living room, where the remnants of my life lay scattered like leaves in the autumn wind. I could see the framed pictures on the wall, memories of happier times, of a family united in love and laughter. But those times felt like a distant dream now, a mirage fading in the harsh light of reality. As I stood there, a wave of pain washed over me. I remembered the late nights spent working overtime to ensure my son had everything he needed, the sacrifices I had made to give him the opportunities one never had. He had been my pride, my joy, the embodiment of my hopes and dreams. And yet, here he was, reveling in the riches of my labor, celebrating a life built on my ruin. I glanced back at the table, the scene of their revelry, and I felt a flicker of something deep within, an emotion I hadn't allowed myself to feel in far too long. It was anger, boiling and fierce, but it was also something else. It was a determination that surged through me, a resolve to reclaim what was rightfully mine and to teach my son a lesson he would never forget. With a deep breath, I stepped out of the shadows and into the light, letting the warmth of the room wash over me. I forced a smile, one that would betray nothing of the storm raging inside. I would be the loving father, the proud figure, the man who had given everything for his family. They would never suspect that I was the architect of their demise, the harbinger of their reckoning. "Can I join you?" I asked, my voice steady, betraying none of the turmoil within. The laughter ceased, and the room fell silent, all eyes turning to me. My son's smile faltered for just a moment, uncertainty flickering in his gaze, but he quickly masked it with feigned warmth. "Dad, of course." "Come, sit." His voice rang out, too bright, too forced. The others welcomed me with polite smiles, but I could see the tension in their eyes, the unspoken questions hanging heavy in the air. I took my place at the table, feeling the weight of their scrutiny, the judgment veiled behind their smiles. I raised my glass, joining in their toasts, the clinking of crystal a harsh reminder of the fragility of our bonds. I smiled, but inside I was calculating, planning, plotting. As the evening wore on, I played my role to perfection, a mask of joviality carefully crafted to obscure the depths of my heart. I laughed at their jokes, feigned interest in their stories, all the while knowing that the clock was ticking, that my moment was approaching. I would let them celebrate, let them think they had won, but soon enough, I would ask the police to enter, and their world would be turned upside down. They would learn that betrayal comes with a price, and I was more than willing to collect. The laughter swells around me, a cacophony of joy that feels foreign and misplaced. It wraps around my heart like a too-tight noose, squeezing until I can barely breathe. I step into the room, the polished oak table gleaming under the soft glow of the chandelier, its light casting dancing shadows that flicker like specters against the walls. Each face turned toward me, smiling, gleaming, oblivious, seems to mock the turmoil roiling inside me, a tempest of grief and anger. "Dad, you made it!" My son, Ethan, rises from his seat, his eyes sparkling with youthful exuberance. He strides towards me, arms open wide, and I feel the warmth of his embrace, but it's a warmth laced with the chill of betrayal. The scent of roasted chicken and garlic fills the air, mingling with the sweetness of celebratory wine, but all I can taste is bitterness. "Of course," I reply, forcing a smile that feels more like a grimace. "Couldn't miss your big night, could I?" My voice is steady, but there's an undercurrent, a tremor that I hope goes unnoticed. "Everyone's been waiting for you." He grins, gesturing back to the table where my wife, Caroline, and other family members sit, their faces alight with joy, unaware of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. I take a deep breath, the air thick and heavy, as I walk toward them. Each step feels like a walk through quicksand, pulling me deeper into this web of pretense. As I reach the table, I catch a glimpse of Caroline's face. Her smile is radiant, but it doesn't reach her eyes. I wonder if she senses the fracture in our family, the cracks that run deeper than any celebration could mend. "Here's to Ethan." Caroline raises her glass, the crystal catching the light in a way that feels both beautiful and sinister. "To his bright future." The others chime in, their voices ringing with sincerity, but I can hear the hollow echo behind their words, the unspoken doubts lingering like ghosts. "To Ethan," they chorus, and I raise my glass too, my heart a heavy stone lodged in my chest. We clink our glasses. Mine feels cold against the warmth of the others, and I force myself to swallow the sweet wine that suddenly tastes like vinegar. As I sit down, I notice the way Ethan leans back in his chair, relaxed and confident, as if he's earned this moment. But what they don't know, or maybe refuse to acknowledge, is how it was all built on shaky ground. I glance at the corner of the room where shadows gather, dark and oppressive, mirroring my own thoughts. "Dad, did you hear about the new project they're starting?" Ethan's voice cuts through my reverie, and I turn my attention back to him. "I'll be leading the team. It's going to be huge." His enthusiasm is infectious, but it only serves to deepen the wound. That's great, son, I reply, my voice barely above a whisper, the words caught in my throat like fish on a line. What kind of project? He launches into a detailed explanation about a construction deal he's landed, and as he speaks, I can't help but notice the pride in his voice, the way he lights up when he describes the figures and projections. It's a performance, one that I should be proud of, yet all I can think about is the shadowy figure of the dealmaker lurking behind it, the man whose name I've whispered in nightmares, the one who threatens everything I hold dear. Sounds promising, I say, my mind racing. I can't let him fall further into this abyss. I need to act, and I need to act soon. Caroline leans over, her eyes sparkling with affection. He's going to be the youngest vice president in the company's history. Isn't it incredible? Her pride radiates, and I feel the weight of her expectations pressing down on me. Just be careful, Ethan, I say, the words slipping out before I can stop them. There are always risks involved with these kinds of deals. He laughs, a carefree sound that grates against my frayed nerves. Come on, Dad. You know I've got this under control. I nod, forcing a smile that feels more like a mask. Of course you do. But inside, I'm screaming. The boy I raised, my boy, has become a pawn in a game I never agreed to play. As the conversation flows around me, I feel myself drifting, lost in a sea of conflicting emotions. I want to believe in him, to support him, but how can I when I know the truth? When I know that every success he celebrates is built on the back of lies and deceit? Dad! Caroline's voice pulls me from the depths, and I glance at her, startled. Are you all right? You seem a bit distant. I'm fine, I say, perhaps too quickly. Just lost in thought. Ethan smirks. Thinking about that fishing trip we're planning? You can't get out of it, you know? I force a chuckle, but it feels brittle against the backdrop of my dread. Yeah, right. Can't wait. The dinner progresses, laughter filling the gaps where my thoughts linger. I watch them as they celebrate, each smile and cheer a dagger to my heart. Each clink of a glass resonates like a funeral bell in my mind, tolling for the loss of the relationship I thought we had, the trust that has been shattered. I glance at the clock. Time seems to slow as the minutes tick by. I'm acutely aware of the tension building within me, the storm brewing just beneath the surface of this charade. I know I have to make a choice soon, and with every passing moment, that choice looms larger, darker. Who wants dessert? Caroline announces, her voice bright and cheerful, slicing through the heavy atmosphere. I watch as she stands, moving toward the kitchen, and a wave of longing washes over me. I want to reach out, to pull her back into this moment, to remind her of the warmth we once shared. But I can't. I can't pretend. Not anymore. As she disappears into the kitchen, I lean closer to Ethan, lowering my voice. Listen, son. He looks at me, his brow furrowed in concern. What is it, Dad? Just be careful with this promotion. I know you're excited, but my words falter, and I hesitate, weighing the gravity of what I'm about to say. There are people out there who don't play fair. His expression shifts, a flicker of confusion crossing his face. What do you mean? I open my mouth, but the truth hangs heavy on my tongue, a poison I can't bear to spill. Instead, I swallow hard, forcing a smile that feels like a betrayal. Nothing, just, I want you to be happy. He nods, but I can see the doubt creeping in, the seeds of concern I've planted taking root. I wonder if I've gone too far, if I've shattered his illusion of invincibility. The kitchen door swings open, and Caroline reappears, arms laden with a decadent chocolate cake, its rich aroma a stark contrast to the heaviness in the air. Who's ready for dessert? She beams, her joy radiant, and for a moment, the tension dissipates, replaced by the sweet allure of indulgence. They cheer, and I manage to force a smile, a mask to hide the turmoil brewing within. But as I watch them slice into that cake, laughter spilling like nectar, I feel the weight of my decision pressing down on me. I know what I must do, and in that moment, as I glance around the table at my family, at the innocence etched into their expressions, I realize that the lines have been drawn. My smile fades, replaced by a resolve as cold as the steel of the badge I will summon. Tonight, the police will come, and with them, the reckoning. The storm is coming, and soon, the world Ethan has built will come crashing down. The laughter swells around me, a tidal wave of joy that threatens to drown my resolve. I force a smile, but it feels like a mask slipping from my face, a facade that only deepens the chasm between the celebratory atmosphere and the storm brewing within me. Ethan stands at the head of the oak table, flushed with pride, his eyes sparkling under the soft glow of the chandelier. It casts a warm light that dances across the faces of our family, illuminating their smiles yet leaving me ensconced in shadows. The scent of roasted chicken and garlic wafts through the air, mingling with the sweet aroma of the chocolate cake, a dessert that I know Ethan loves. I should be savoring this moment, but instead, my heart is a heavy stone lodged in my chest, weighing down my every thought. I glance around the room, taking in my family. My wife, Sarah, beams with unmasked joy, her laughter ringing out like chimes in the wind. She doesn't see what I see. To her, this is a celebration. To me, it's a wake for the dreams I once held dear. Dad, come on, join us. Ethan calls, his voice buoyant, the perfect blend of youthful exuberance and triumph. He motions for me to come closer, and I feel like a marionette, forced to dance to the whims of a puppet master I can't control. I take a step forward, and the chatter dims slightly, the eyes of my family turning toward me, expectant and hopeful. Yeah, Dad, you've got to be proud of me. Ethan continues, his enthusiasm infectious. For a moment, I am almost swayed. I want to feel that pride, to bask in the glow of his success. But then the memories flood in. Those late nights at the office, the missed soccer games, the sacrifices so many made for this moment. What is success without integrity? What is a promotion built on deceit? I am proud, son, I say, the words slipping out, coated in a syrupy sweetness that feels foreign on my tongue. The room erupts in applause, and I stand there, a statue in a surreal tableau, the clapping ringing hollow, a mocking echo of the joy that surrounds me. Just think, Dad, Ethan continues, oblivious to my inner conflict. This is just the beginning. I'm going to take the company to new heights. His voice rises with excitement, but I feel a tightening in my chest. I can't let him continue down this path, a path paved with lies and betrayal. Ethan, I interject, my voice firm, slicing through the jubilant air like a knife. The room quiets, and I see the surprise flicker across his face. We need to talk. This isn't just about your promotion. His smile falters, and for a fleeting second, I see the boy I raised, the boy who was once so innocent and full of dreams. The shadows in my heart stir, whispering doubts and fears. What do you mean? He asks, his brow furrowing. The laughter has faded, replaced by a tense silence that wraps around us like a shroud. I hesitate, my thoughts racing. The plan I've crafted feels both righteous and cruel. Do I really want to expose him here, at what should be the happiest moment of his life? But every fiber of my being screams for justice. I know about the deal, I say, forcing myself to meet his gaze. I know how you got this promotion. Gasps ripple through the room, and I feel the weight of their eyes, heavy with judgment and disbelief. What deal? Ethan's voice shakes, a tremor that betrays the bravado he wore moments ago. Don't play coy with me, Ethan. I'm not blind. I've seen the way you've been acting, how you've been cutting corners, making deals that stink of corruption. This isn't just about business. It's about our family, our name. The tension thickens, an invisible wall rising between us. I can see the gears turning in his mind, the realization dawning, and the anger bubbling just beneath the surface. "You don't know what you're talking about," he snaps, indignation lacing his words. But I see the cracks in his armor, the flicker of doubt in his eyes. "Don't I? You think I didn't notice the late-night calls, the secretive meetings?" I press on, my voice steady, emboldened by the truth. "You're jeopardizing everything we've worked for, Ethan. You're not just playing with your career, you're playing with our legacy." "I was doing what I had to do," he retorts, his voice rising. The room is charged with a tension that feels electric, the air thick with unsaid words and unexpressed fears. "You don't understand the pressure I'm under. You're living in the past, Dad." "Am I?" I challenge, desperation creeping into my tone. "Am I living in the past? Or am I trying to save you from making a monumental mistake? This isn't the way to build a future, Ethan." The silence is deafening, and I feel Sarah's gaze burning into my back, a mix of confusion and concern. "What's going on?" she finally interjects, her voice trembling slightly. "Why are you two fighting?" "I'm just trying to get through to him," I say, my heart racing as I turn to her, pleading for her understanding. "He's blinded by ambition, and I can't stand to watch him throw everything away." "Dad, stop it," Ethan yells, his fists clenching at his sides. "You're ruining my night. This is supposed to be a celebration built on lies." I counter, my voice barely containing the storm within me. I can feel the weight of the moment crashing down, the chasm between us widening with each word. "Is this really what you want, Ethan?" "Enough!" he shouts, the finality in his voice ringing clear. "You're not going to ruin this for me. I'm done with your lectures." He storms away from the table, the clatter of chairs scraping against the floor echoing in my ears. "Ethan, wait!" Call, but he doesn't turn back. The door to the dining room slams shut, leaving an oppressive silence in his wake. I can almost hear the ticking of the clock on the wall, each second dragging painfully slow, the tension thickening around us. "What just happened?" Sarah whispers, her voice small, as if afraid of the answers. I can see the hurt in her eyes, the confusion swirling amidst the chaos. "I'm sorry, Sarah," I say, my voice quieter now, the fight draining from me. "I had to say something. He can't keep going down this path." "Maybe you should have waited," she replies softly, disappointment lacing her words. "This was supposed to be a happy moment, and you turned it into a battlefield." I feel the weight of her words, the truth cutting deeper than any knife. "I thought I was protecting him," I murmur, my thoughts spiraling. "But what if I've only pushed him further away? This isn't just about Ethan, you know?" she continues, her eyes searching mine, pleading for understanding. "It's about us, our family. If you suspect him of something serious, you need to be sure before you act." The shadows in the room seem to deepen, merging with the darkness that clings to my heart. I know, I'm trying to figure it out, but I can't just sit back and watch him destroy everything we built. "Then maybe you need to talk to him," she suggests, her voice more steady now. "Not in anger, but in love. He needs to know you're on his side, even if you disagree." I nod slowly, the weight of her words sinking in. "You're right," I say, though doubt lingers at the edges of my mind. "But what if he doesn't listen? What if it's too late?" "Then we'll deal with it together," she assures me, her hand reaching out to rest on mine. "But don't forget, he's still our son. He needs us more than ever right now." As I absorb her words, I can feel the tension in the room shift, the heaviness giving way to a fragile hope. I know I need to confront Ethan again, to find a way to reach him before he gets too deep into this world of deceit. But first, I need to regain my own composure, a calm before the storm that is surely brewing. "Give me a moment," I say, rising from my seat. I take a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill my lungs, hoping it will clear the fog of uncertainty clouding my mind. I need to find Ethan before he spirals further into this chaos. As I step into the hallway, I hear the muffled sounds of the celebration continuing behind me, the laughter now tinged with an undercurrent of anxiety. I know the police are a call away, and the thought lingers like a specter at the back of my mind. But I can't think about that now. I need to focus on my son. I move toward his room, the footsteps echoing off the walls, each step heavy with the weight of what's at stake. I know I need to find Ethan before the night is over, before the darkness fully claims him and our family. As I reach his door, I hesitate for a moment, my hand hovering over the knob. What will I say? How can I bridge the chasm that now exists between us? I take a deep breath, steadying myself. Ethan? I call softly, hoping to temper the storm raging within. Can we talk? Silence answers me, a silence that feels like a warning. But I know I have to try. With resolve, I turn the knob and step inside, determined to bring my son back from the edge before it's too late. The echo of Ethan's footsteps fades into the distant hum of laughter and clinking glasses, and I'm left in the suffocating silence of the dining room. The celebration continues, but I can't shake the image of my son's face, betrayal etched into his features, anger flaring in his eyes. A warmth that should have enveloped me feels more like a shroud, suffocating in its familiarity. I glance around the table, where family members, oblivious to the storm brewing within me, raise their glasses in cheerful toasts. The soft glow of candlelight dances across their faces, illuminating joy that feels like a distant memory to me now. The scent of roasted chicken, garlic, and rosemary wafts through the air. A feast designed to celebrate success. Yet all I taste is bitterness. Sharp, acrid, and unrelenting. Dad, come on. You can't just sit there. My sister, Lily, calls out, her laughter bubbling over like the champagne in her glass. She waves me over, her smile bright, and I force a tight smile in return, masking the tempest brewing beneath my facade. I shuffle forward, my heart a heavy stone lodged in my chest. Every step feels like a betrayal, a quiet concession to the charade I can't escape. I settle into my chair, the oak table a stark reminder of the family unity I once believed in. Now it feels like a battlefield, each dish a reminder of what I stand to lose. Ethan deserved this. My brother-in-law, Mark, declares, his voice booming with pride. He worked hard to get where he is. The laughter rings hollow, a mocking echo in the recesses of my mind. Hard work, I whisper under my breath, barely audible over the din. What is hard work when it's built on lies? Isn't that right, Dad? Mark nudges me, his eyes expectant. Of course, I reply, my voice strained as I try to keep pace with their jubilation. He's done well, but my thoughts spiral back to the meeting I witnessed. Ethan shaking hands with that notary, the slick-haired man who dripped with deception like a melting candle. I feel the weight of the truth pressing down on me, threatening to crush the remnants of the pride I once felt. Let's not forget who really paved the way for Ethan. Lily chimes in, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Dad, you always said hard work pays off. You should be proud. I manage, though my voice falters. The words taste like ashes. A round of toasts erupts, and the clinking of glasses fills the air, drowning out my inner turmoil. I lift my glass, the cool crystal a stark contrast to the heat pooling in my gut. To Ethan, I say, forcing the words through clenched teeth, may he continue to succeed. Cheers! They all respond, their voices blending into a harmony that feels foreign to me now. Yet, as I sip the bubbly drink, it does little to quell the storm inside. My gaze drifts to the empty chair across from me, the one that once belonged to my father. A wave of nostalgia crashes over me, memories of family gatherings when laughter was genuine, not a mask for deeper fractures. Are you okay, Dad? Ethan's younger sister, Mia asks, concern flickering in her wide eyes. I nod, the gesture automatic. Just tired. She tilts her head, a child's intuitive understanding piercing through my facade. You're not tired. You're worried. Worried. I repeat, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. What could I possibly be worried about? About Ethan? She says softly, the innocence of her tone cutting deeper than I expect. The room feels suddenly colder, shadows stretching as if to reach for me. I can't bear the thought of shattering her perception, of exposing her to the darkness that envelopes our family. It's nothing, I insist, but my words tremble. Dad, please, she presses, her voice barely above a whisper. Talk to him. Talk to him. The laughter around me suddenly feels like a cruel joke, a reminder of how alone I truly am in this moment. What do I say? Son, I know you're swimming in a pool of corruption, and I'm just waiting for the right moment to pull you out. Mia's brow furrows, confusion mingling with concern. You're not being fair. He's worked hard. I glance at her, feeling the weight of her trust. Hard work shouldn't come at the cost of integrity. Before she can respond, Ethan re-enters the room, his face a mask of steely resolve. The laughter dies down, and I see the way his eyes dart around the table, calculating, assessing. He takes his seat, the air thickening with unspoken tension. Everything okay? He asks, his voice smooth yet edged with an undercurrent I can't ignore. Just a family moment, Lily says, her voice brightening the atmosphere, but I can feel the chill in the air. I see, Ethan replies, but there's a distance in his tone, as if he's already retreated behind walls I can't breach. The conversation resumes, but my mind races. I feel like a ghost haunting the edges of this celebration, tethered to a past that feels increasingly foreign. I glance at Ethan, his smile a mask that doesn't quite reach his eyes. I want to reach out, to pull him back to the boy I once knew, but the chasm between us feels insurmountable. Dad, can I talk to you? Ethan's voice cuts through the noise, and the room falls silent, all eyes on us. Now? I ask, a flicker of alarm igniting in my chest. Yeah, now. I nod, and he rises, leading me out of the dining room and into the dimly lit hallway. The shadows cling to us like a shroud, and I can feel the weight of my decision pressing down on me. What's up? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady, but it wavers. Can you stop being weird? He snaps, frustration boiling just beneath the surface. Everyone's celebrating, and you're acting like you've got a funeral to attend. I take a breath, steeling myself for the conversation I've dreaded. Ethan, I need to talk to you about something important. Important. He rolls his eyes, impatience radiating off him like heat. It's not important. It's just you thinking you know better. Thinking I know better? My heart races as I grasp for the right words. You're involved in something dangerous, son. I don't want you to get hurt. Dangerous? Come on, Dad. He scoffs, crossing his arms defiantly. I've worked hard for this. I deserve to enjoy it. Enjoy it? At what cost? I press, desperation creeping into my tone. You're playing with fire, and I don't want to see you burned. He glares at me, and the silence stretches between us, thick and oppressive. You think I'm a kid? You think I can't handle it? It's not about that, Ethan. It's about the choices you're making, the people you're getting involved with. People like that notary? He snaps back, his voice rising. You think you know him? You don't know anything. Then let me in. I plead, my voice rising with urgency. Let me help you before it's too late. Ethan's expression hardens, and I can see the walls rising again. I don't need your help. I can take care of myself. The finality in his tone cuts deep, and I feel a wave of despair crashing over me. I want to scream, to shake him until he understands the gravity of the situation, but all I can do is stand there, helpless. Ethan, please, I say, my voice softer now, laced with desperation. This isn't just about you. It's about all of us, the family, our legacy. He scoffs again, a bitter laugh escaping his lips. Legacy? What legacy? You think we're some kind of dynasty? Look around, Dad. This is all built on illusions. The words hit me like a slap. Illusions. I echo, the word tasting foreign. You're wrong. We're a family. We fight for each other. Fight for each other? Is that why you're planning to call the police? His voice drips with sarcasm, and I feel the weight of his accusation settle like lead in my stomach. I'm not planning to. Then why are you even talking to me? He interrupts, his voice rising with anger. If you can't support me, then just stay out of my life. The finality of his words sends a chill through me, a sense of impending loss that I can't ignore. Ethan, don't. But he's already turning away, storming back toward the dining room, leaving me standing alone in the flickering shadows. The laughter resumes, a haunting reminder of what I stand to lose. As I take a deep breath, the weight of my decision looms like a storm cloud overhead. I know what I must do. The choice is no longer about revenge but about redemption. The police might not be my ally, but I can't watch my son spiral down this path any longer. With a heavy heart, I step back into the light, ready to shatter the illusion of celebration. The time for silence has ended, and the reckoning approaches. The darkness that follows my footsteps feels more like a companion now, guiding me toward a resolution I never wanted but can no longer avoid. The laughter around the oak table dances in the air, a sharp contrast to the turmoil swirling within me. Each chuckle from Ethan, buoyed by the accolades of family and friends, feels like a dagger, twisting deeper with every cheerful word. I glance at his face, illuminated by the soft glow of the chandelier, and see not my son, but a stranger cloaked in ambition. The aroma of roasted chicken and garlic wafts through the room, mingling with the scent of desperation clinging to my heart like a thick fog. Dad, come on, join us. Ethan's voice cuts through my thoughts, bright and inviting, yet somehow laced with an edge I can't quite place. He raises his glass, a gesture of celebration, and the others follow suit, their faces beaming with pride and joy. But for me, the moment feels like a mockery of everything I've worked for, everything I believed in. I can't help but feel the shadows creeping in, thick and suffocating, wrapping around my chest like a vice. This dinner, this so-called celebration, is nothing more than a facade, a thin veil draped over the reality of my son's choices. I remember the sacrifices I made, long nights, the grueling hours at work, the dreams I shelved for his future. And now, here we are, at the precipice of ruin, and Ethan stands at the center of it all, blissfully ignorant of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. Dad! His voice pulls me back from the precipice of my thoughts, and I realize everyone is staring at me, expectantly. I raise my glass, but the weight of it feels heavy, like a stone lodged in my hand. To Ethan, I manage to say, forcing a smile that feels more like a grimace. The clinking of glasses echoes, a hollow sound that reverberates within me, amplifying the unease that gnaws at my insides. May his future be bright. The room erupts in cheers, but my heart sinks. Ethan's smile broadens, and for a fleeting moment, I see the boy I once knew, the one who chased fireflies in our backyard and dreamed of becoming a hero. I want to shake him to make him see the truth, but instead, I sit in silence, a prisoner of my own making. As the meal progresses, I find myself lost in a stream of consciousness, my thoughts spiraling. The clatter of forks and knives fades into a distant hum, and the laughter becomes a cruel reminder of my isolation. I can't shake the feeling that I'm watching a tragedy unfold, the actors blissfully unaware of the impending doom. I feel like a ghost hovering at the edges of this celebration, invisible to those who once meant everything to me. Dad, seriously, what's wrong? Ethan's tone shifts, a crack of concern breaking through his jovial facade. You've barely touched your food. It's the perfect opening, yet I hesitate. I want to scream, to unleash the torrent of emotions swirling within me, but I can't. I can't ruin this moment for him, for the family. I swallow hard, forcing the words back down, feeling the bitterness rise in my throat. Just thinking, I reply, my voice barely above a whisper. About what? He leans in, his eyebrows furrowing, genuine curiosity etched on his face. You can talk to me. The sincerity in his eyes almost breaks me, and for a moment, I'm tempted to spill everything. The anger, the betrayal, the desperate need to protect him. But I know what I must do. I can't let him drown in this sea of corruption. I'm just proud of you, Ethan. You've worked hard. Thanks, Dad. He beams, and I see the flicker of hope in his eyes, the belief that he's done everything right, that this newfound success is a testament to his efforts. But I know the truth, a truth that gnaws at me like a hungry beast. I glance at the clock on the wall, its hands ticking away the minutes, each second a reminder of the decision I must make. The police. I can't keep dancing around the truth, pretending that everything is fine while the foundation of our family crumbles beneath us. As the conversation meanders from one topic to another, I find myself watching the interactions around me. My brother's hearty laughter, my sister's gentle teasing, the warmth of my wife's smile. They are all wrapped up in this celebration, this illusion of happiness, while I stand on the edge of a precipice, ready to plunge into the unknown. Are you okay, Uncle? Ethan's best friend, Ryan, asks, his youthful exuberance momentarily dimming as he notices my distant demeanor. You look like you just saw a ghost. Just tired, Ryan, I reply, forcing a chuckle that feels out of place. Long week, you know? Yeah, I get that, he says, nodding, his attention quickly shifting back to Ethan and the story he's telling about his new promotion. I can feel the weight of their innocent excitement pressing down on me, a reminder of the innocence that's about to be lost. The evening drags on, a relentless cycle of laughter and clinking glasses, while my resolve hardens with each passing moment. I can't let this continue. I can't allow my son to believe that this path is acceptable, that the lies and deceit will lead to anything but ruin. As dinner draws to a close, the plates are cleared away, and dessert is served. A chocolate cake that Ethan's sister baked, a sweet and rich reminder of family traditions. Everyone digs in, their faces lighting up with joy, but I can't shake the knot of dread in my stomach. I watch Ethan take a bite, his eyes closing in bliss, and I feel a pang of regret. Dad, you have to try this, he urges, offering me a forkful. But I shake my head, the weight of my decision pressing heavily on my chest. I'm not hungry, son, I reply, my voice steadier than I feel. I need to talk to you. Alone. His smile falters, confusion flickering in his gaze. Okay. Just give me a minute. He glances back at his friends, but I can see the uncertainty creeping in, the tension in the air thickening. Now, Ethan, I insist, the urgency in my tone cutting through the celebratory atmosphere like a knife. The room quiets, all eyes shifting toward us, the laughter dying down as they sense the shift. All right, he replies, his tone cautious as he pushes his chair back, the sound grating against my nerves. I rise, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on me, the air heavy with unspoken words. We step into the hallway, the soft glow of the dining room dimming behind us. The silence hangs thick, a palpable tension radiating between us. I can feel the walls closing in, the shadows of our fractured relationship looming larger. Dad, what's going on? Ethan asks, concern etching lines across his forehead. You're scaring me. I need you to listen to me. My voice is firm, and I can see the flicker of doubt in his eyes. What you're doing, the way you got that promotion, it's not right. You're compromising everything we've built as a family. What are you talking about? He shakes his head, disbelief clouding his features. I earned this. I worked hard. Did you? I counter, feeling the anger bubbling beneath the surface. At what cost, Ethan? Are you willing to sacrifice our family's integrity for a title? For money? His expression shifts, defensiveness creeping in. You don't understand. You've always been so fixated on doing the right thing. This is how the world works now. I can feel the walls of my resolve crumbling, and desperation floods my voice. But it's not how we work. It's not how I raised you. I won't let you drown in this. Drown? Dad, you're being dramatic. I'm not doing anything wrong, he retorts, anger flaring in his eyes. You're just mad because you don't get it. You're stuck in the past. Am I? I challenge, stepping closer, the distance between us shrinking. Or are you the one who's blind to the consequences of your actions? For a moment we stand there, two figures caught in a storm of emotions, the weight of our history pressing down on us. The air is electric, charged with the echoes of our unspoken fears, our shattered dreams. I'm calling the police, I finally say, the words tumbling from my lips like a confession. I can't let this go on. You have to face the consequences. His face pales, disbelief morphing into outrage. You would do that? To me? After everything? I swallow hard, my heart pounding against my chest. It's because I love you, Ethan. I won't let you destroy yourself. I won't let you drag our family down with you. The silence that follows is deafening, the weight of my decision hanging in the air like a guillotine poised to drop. I see the realization dawning on his face, the truth unfurling like a dark cloud. And in that moment I know I have crossed a line, and there is no going back. I can't believe you, he whispers, his voice trembling. You're making a mistake. I'm trying to save you from making a bigger one. I reply, my voice steady despite the chaos within. As I turn to reach for my phone, a flicker of hope ignites within me. Maybe, just maybe, this will be the wake-up call he needs. But as I dial the number, I can't shake the feeling that this decision will shatter the very foundation of our family. And as the line connects, I know that the celebration is over. The darkness that looms over us is no longer just a shadow. It's a reckoning, and it's about to change everything. The air hangs heavily with the scent of roasted chicken and garlic, a stark contrast to the turmoil swirling within me. I glance around the dining room, where laughter bounces off the walls, but it rings hollow, a mocking echo of the celebration that feels more like a funeral to me. My heart is a heavy stone lodged in my chest, and as I look at Ethan, a twisted cocktail of pride and betrayal simmers beneath the surface. Dad, come on, join us in the toast. Ethan's voice cuts through my reverie, its enthusiasm almost jarring. He raises his glass of sparkling cider, the soft glow of the chandelier accentuating his boyish charm, the very charm that now feels like a cruel mask. I force a smile, a tight-lipped grimace that doesn't reach my eyes. Sure, Ethan, just a moment. I can feel the weight of my decision pressing down on me like the thick fog that blankets the city at dawn. The police will come soon, and as I mull over my next move, I can't shake the feeling that I'm standing on the precipice of a chasm, teetering between love and the desperate need for truth. The family gathers around the oak table, a sturdy symbol of our unity, cracked now with the tension that surges beneath the surface. My wife, Linda, beams at Ethan, her eyes sparkling with pride, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing in my chest. Ethan, we're so proud of you. You've worked so hard for this. She gushes, raising her glass alongside him. Thanks, Mom. It means a lot. Ethan replies, his smile bright but strained. It's a mask I've seen before, hiding something darker beneath. An ambition that has morphed into a voracious hunger for success at any cost. I watch as the glasses clink together, the sound sharp and bright, yet it feels like a funeral bell tolling for our family. I sip my watered-down whiskey, letting the bitter liquid wash over my tongue as I grapple with my thoughts. How did we get here? The boy I raised, the one who used to dream of helping others and making the world a better place, has become a stranger before my very eyes. Dad, are you okay? Ethan's voice pulls me from my reverie, concern etched on his face, though I sense it's more for show than genuine worry. You seem distant. Just thinking, I reply, my voice flat, about how far you've come. The words hang in the air, heavy with implications. Ethan's brow furrows, but before he can respond, Aunt Clara interjects, her laughter like a sudden gust of wind that stirs the atmosphere. Oh, he's just being modest. Look at him, our rising star. She gestures grandly, her words a sugary coating over the bitter truth. I can't help but notice how everyone else seems blissfully ignorant of the shadows lurking just beyond the reach of our celebration. I glance at my mother, her eyes glistening with unshed tears of pride, the weight of expectation, the burden of legacy. I swallow hard, my throat tight with emotion. Ethan, can we talk for a minute? The words tumble out, my voice low and urgent. I don't wait for a response. I stand up, my chair scraping against the floor like a warning bell. Dad, wait. Ethan starts, but I'm already moving toward the kitchen, the heart of the home where all our meals began, where we shared laughter and stories, before the darkness seeped in. Once inside, I close the door behind us, cutting off the festive noise of the dining room. The kitchen is dimmer, shadows pooling in the corners, mirroring the turmoil writhing within me. I lean against the counter, my heart racing. Ethan, we need to talk about your promotion. He crosses his arms defensively, a barrier between us. What's there to talk about? I earned it. Did you? The question lingers in the air, thick and charged. Did you really earn it? Or did you take shortcuts? I can't help but wonder how you climbed that ladder so quickly, especially with the whispers about the notary and those contracts. Ethan's expression shifts, a flicker of anger flashing in his eyes. You don't understand, Dad. This is how it works in the real world. It's not all about hard work. It's about connections, about knowing how to play the game. Play the game. I echo, incredulous. You're talking about ethics, Ethan. You're talking about selling your soul for a promotion. Is that really what you want? He scoffs, the sound bitter. You always talk about integrity, but where has that gotten you? Look at us. Look at me. I'm finally succeeding, and you want to drag me back into your outdated ideals. I feel the heat rise in my chest, the frustration bubbling over. It's not about dragging you back. It's about saving you from yourself. You're on a path that leads to destruction. I can't just stand by and watch you throw everything away. Ethan steps closer, and for a moment, I see the boy I once knew, the one who looked to me for guidance. You don't get it, do you? This is how the world works now. I'm not your little boy anymore. I'm a man, and I'm making my own choices. And those choices are destroying the very thing we've built as a family. My voice cracks, the raw pain spilling out. You're tearing us apart, Ethan. Can't you see that? The silence stretches between us, thick like fog. I can see the conflict in his eyes, the flicker of doubt that he desperately tries to suppress. But then he hardens, his resolve returning. I'm not going to let you ruin this for me. I won't let you. A part of me wants to reach out, to pull him back from the edge, but another part screams that it's too late. I take a deep breath, steadying myself, and say the words I've dreaded. I called the police. His face pales, the color draining from his cheeks. What? You what? The anger returns, a tempest brewing in his eyes. You can't be serious. I am, Ethan. I need you to understand that this isn't just about you anymore. It's about accountability. You need to face what you've done. You can't do this to me. His voice rises, filled with desperation. "You're my father. You're supposed to support me." "I'm trying to support you by making you face the truth," I say, my voice steady but a tremor of sorrow laces my words. "This isn't just a celebration. It's a reckoning. I can't watch you drown in this corruption." Ethan shakes his head, disbelief etched on his face. "You're choosing to destroy our family over a mistake." "It's not a mistake if it's deliberate, Ethan." I'm shouting now, the tension spilling over like boiling water. "You're putting your ambition above everything else. I can't let you hurt yourself, or us, any longer." We stand there, the air charged with unspoken fears and regrets. I can see the walls closing in around him, the denial flickering in his eyes. It's a battle, one I never wanted to fight. But here we are, the fragile threads of our family unraveling before my very eyes. "Please," I say, my voice softer now, a plea wrapped in desperation. "Let's fix this together. You can still turn back. I believe in you, but you have to help yourself first." He turns away, his back to me, fists clenched in frustration. "You don't get it. I can't just turn back. There's too much at stake." And in that moment, I realize the truth. He's already too far gone, caught in the web of his own making. I can only hope it's not too late for him to break free. The sound of sirens in the distance pierces through the silence, a chilling reminder of the choice I've made. My heart races, a mix of dread and resolve. I've set this in motion, and now I must see it through no matter the cost. As the sirens grow louder, I know that our family, once filled with laughter and love, is teetering on the brink of irrevocable change. I just hope that somewhere within Ethan, the boy I raised still exists, waiting to emerge from the shadows of his ambition. The sirens wail in the distance, slicing through the laughter that fills the dining room like a knife through butter. My heart pounds, each beat a reminder of the choice I've made. The cheerful clinking of glasses, the aroma of roasted chicken mingling with the sweet scent of maple-glazed carrots, becomes increasingly suffocating. Each note of laughter from my family, a joyful chorus celebrating Ethan's success, rings in my ears like a mocking echo, taunting me for my betrayal. Ethan stands at the head of the table, a radiant smile on his face, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath the surface. His shirt, a crisp white, glows under the soft yellow light, making him look every bit the golden child he always aspired to be. My son, the embodiment of dreams and aspirations. I can hardly recognize him through the veil of deceit that now clouds my vision. "Dad, you should really lighten up. You're ruining the mood." Ethan laughs, his voice buoyant, but it feels like a slap. The laughter of my family melds with his words, creating a cacophony that presses down on my chest. "I'm not ruining anything," I reply, my voice low but steady. "I'm trying to save you." The words spill out before I can catch them, raw and unfiltered. Linda glances at me, her brow furrowing. "What do you mean by that?" Her tone is laced with concern, a mother's instinct kicking in. She's still blissfully ignorant of the depths of Ethan's ambitions, the corrupt foundation on which his success is built. "Nothing, sweetheart. Just a little misunderstanding," I manage to say, forcing a smile that feels more like a grimace. The oak table stretches between us, a symbol of our family unity, but right now it feels like a chasm, separating the man I used to know from the stranger who sits before me. "Come on, Dad. This is a celebration. Quit being such a downer." Ethan's voice rises, a hint of irritation creeping in. I can see the flicker of annoyance in his eyes. He's starting to lose patience. I need to tread carefully. One misstep could lead to an explosion, and I can't afford to let my emotions take control. The police are on their way, and with each passing moment, the weight of that knowledge feels heavier. I look towards the dining room window, the soft glow of the streetlights illuminating the shadows creeping closer. The night is darkening, and I'm not just talking about the sky. "Do you really believe you've earned this?" I ask, my voice dropping an octave, filled with a gravity that makes the air thick. Do you think this career, this life you've built, can stand on lies? Ethan's face hardens for a moment, a flicker of vulnerability flashing across his features before he masks it with bravado. Dad, you don't understand. He shoots back, his tone dismissive, but I can see the cracks forming. What I did was necessary. Everyone does it. It's just business. Business. My voice rises involuntarily, the word tasting bitter in my mouth. At what cost, Ethan? At what cost? The tension in the room thickens, palpable and suffocating. I can feel the eyes of my family on us, waiting, unsure of where this confrontation will lead. Linda's gaze darts between Ethan and me, her confusion deepening. I can almost hear the cogs turning in her mind as she tries to piece together this dissonance. Dad, you're being dramatic. If you want to sabotage my success, then just say it. But don't act like you care about me. Ethan snaps, his words like arrows aimed straight at my heart. The laughter around the table has faded, leaving behind an awkward silence that feels like a punch to the gut. I see the festive decorations, twinkling lights and streamers, now stark against the tension, like a cruel mockery of our situation. I care about you, Ethan. I say, my voice softer now, filled with desperation. I care about who you're becoming. Ethan runs a hand through his hair, a gesture of frustration. I can see him wrestling with his thoughts, caught between the ambition that drives him and the shadows of his conscience that whisper doubts. But it's too late for him now. The sirens are getting closer, and I need him to understand before everything falls apart. Dad, I'm not a child anymore. I can make my own choices, he replies, but there's a tremor in his voice, a crack in the armor he wears so proudly. Choices that could destroy you. I reply, my heart aching for the son I once knew. You're chasing something that isn't real, Ethan. You're building a life on quicksand. Just then, the doorbell rings, slicing through the tension like a guillotine. My stomach drops, and I can feel the world tilting on its axis. The police are here. Stay here, I tell Ethan, my voice low but firm, though I know the command is futile. He's not a child needing protection. He's a man who thinks he has it all figured out. Dad. He begins, but I cut him off. Just stay. I stride toward the door, each step heavier than the last, the weight of my decision pressing down on me like a lead blanket. I can hear the muffled voices of my family behind me, their confused whispers a backdrop to my mounting dread. I open the door, and the officers stand before me, imposing figures clad in dark uniforms, their expressions unreadable. The scent of the night air is sharp, a stark contrast to the warmth inside. Good evening, sir. One of the officers says, his voice steady and professional, yet there's an undercurrent of tension in the air. We received a call regarding some potentially illegal activities. I take a breath, the words catching in my throat. Yes, I called. The admission feels like a confession, and the weight of my choice hangs heavy in the air. Can we come in? The officer asks, his eyes scanning the room behind me. I can feel the eyes of my family upon me, their confusion morphing into shock and disbelief. Of course, I reply, stepping aside to let them in, feeling the shadows of my decision loom larger as they cross the threshold. The atmosphere shifts, the festive air now charged with an electric tension. I glance back at Ethan, who stands frozen at the table, his face pale, disbelief etched across his features. The laughter and joy are gone, replaced by a silence so thick it feels suffocating. Is there a problem, officers? Linda asks, her voice quaking slightly as she takes in the scene. We're here to ask some questions regarding an ongoing investigation. The second officer replies, his tone calm but firm. I can feel the eyes of my family on me, searching for answers, but I have none to give. I've thrown a match into a powder keg, and now I can only stand back and watch the devastation unfold. Ethan, I say, my voice cracking as I reach out to him, but he recoils as if my touch burns. Stay out of this, Dad. He snaps, anger flaring in his eyes. You've done enough. The tension hangs between us, thick and heavy, as the officers begin to question him. I can see the mask slipping further from Ethan's face, the bravado fading as the realization sinks in. Each question they ask feels like a dagger, piercing through the facade he's built, exposing the rot beneath. His defiance crumbles, replaced by uncertainty and fear. I can see the boy I raised struggling to emerge from the wreckage of his choices, but it's too late. As the officers continue their questioning, I feel as though I'm watching a train wreck in slow motion, powerless to intervene. The laughter and warmth of the celebration are nothing but fading echoes now, leaving behind a cold emptiness that seeps into my bones. Ethan looks at me, his eyes wide, filled with a mixture of betrayal and fear. In that moment, I realize I've not only called the police on his actions, but on the very essence of what we once were. A family bound by love, now unraveling before my eyes. And as the night deepens, I brace myself for the fallout. The wail of sirens cuts through the air, slicing the jubilant facade of our family, gathering like a knife through butter. It's a sound that echoes in my mind, a harbinger of the chaos that is about to unfold. I watch as the celebration around me begins to warp under the weight of my decision. The glow of candlelight flickering like the last breaths of happiness fighting against an encroaching darkness. Ethan stands frozen at the head of the oak table, his expression shifting from confusion to understanding, then crystallizing into something harder, defiance. I can see the muscles in his jaw tighten as he processes the reality of my threat. The laughter that once filled the room now hangs heavy, a ghostly reminder of the joy that has slipped through our fingers. The clinking of glasses, the cheerful banter, all of it feels like a distant memory, drowned out by the impending storm. Aren't you being a little dramatic? Ethan finally snaps, his voice rising above the charged silence. This is my moment. You're ruining it. I can feel my heart thrumming violently in my chest, a heavy stone lodged there, pushing against my ribs as if trying to escape. Ruining it? Or saving you from it? My voice shakes, a mixture of anger and desperation fueling my words. You've built your success on lies, Ethan. Lies that could destroy us all. The air in the dining room thickens, the scent of roasted chicken and garlic turning sour as familial bonds are tested. The other family members, once vibrant cheerleaders of Ethan's achievements, are now mere shadows, their faces reflecting a mix of concern and disbelief. My sister, Sarah, shifts uncomfortably in her seat, her eyes darting between us like a spectator at a tennis match, unsure of which side to take. My wife, Maria, sits with her hands clasped tightly in her lap, her expression a blend of hurt and anger. Dad, you're being unreasonable, Ethan retorts, his voice laced with an edge of panic. I've worked hard for this. You taught me to be ambitious, to seize opportunities when they arise. Why can't you see that? Ambition doesn't justify betrayal. I say, my throat tightening. You've sacrificed our family's integrity for a paycheck. Do you even realize what you've done? Ethan's eyes narrow, the defiance hardening into something colder. You don't understand the world I'm in. It's not black and white. Sometimes you have to play the game. Play the game, I echo, incredulous. At what cost? Your soul. The shadows in the room deepen, lurking in the corners like dark secrets waiting to be revealed. I can feel my pulse quickening, the intensity of the moment charging the air around us. I glance at my phone, the screen illuminating the incoming call that will shatter our fragile reality. My thumb hovers over the button, and in that split second, I am struck by the weight of my choice. Ethan takes a step toward me, his expression shifting from anger to something almost pleading. Dad, please, don't do this. I can fix it. I can make things right. Can you? I challenge, my voice dropping to a low growl. Or is that just another lie? The room seems to shrink as the tension escalates, the celebration now a battlefield, and the oak table, a symbol of our family unity, feels like a rickety barricade separating us. The soft glow of the candles casts long shadows, distorting our features and amplifying the chasm that has grown between us. I can feel the eyes of my family on me, silently urging me to reconsider, to retreat. But I refuse to back down. Dad! Ethan's voice rises, almost a shout now, echoing off the walls. This isn't just about you and me anymore. You're putting everything at risk. My job, our family's reputation. What will the neighbors think? What will people say? What will people say? I scoff, incredulous. What about what you've done? What about our values? You've trampled them for a fleeting moment of success. The sirens grow louder, an ominous reminder of the reality I have set into motion. I can hear the crunch of gravel outside as the police car pulls into our driveway, the sound reverberating in my bones. I glance at Maria, her face pale, lips pressed together in a thin line of uncertainty. I can see the turmoil in her eyes, the silent plea for me to reconsider. But I can't. I won't. Ethan, I say, my voice lowering softer now, tinged with a father's love. This is your chance to come clean, to choose the right path. Please don't let pride blind you. He shakes his head vehemently, a wild look in his eyes. I won't let you ruin my life over some misguided sense of justice. You're just scared of losing what you think you built. But you're wrong. You didn't build this for me. I built it for myself. The doorbell rings, a sharp sound that cuts through the turmoil. It's a final bell tolling for the celebration that once was. I can sense the shift in the atmosphere, the weight of impending consequences bearing down on us like a looming storm cloud. I have to go, I say, a sense of resignation settling over me. The decision is made, and I can't turn back now. I move toward the door, my heart pounding as I reach for the knob. Dad, wait! Ethan calls out, desperation creeping into his voice. I pause, the air thick with unspoken words. I turn back to face him, my resolve faltering for just a moment. You can still stop this, Ethan, but you have to own up to your choices. He looks at me, eyes wide, as if searching for any glimmer of hope. But I see only fear and anger reflected back at me. You're making a mistake, he whispers, the defiance fading from his voice, replaced by something softer, more vulnerable. No, son. You made the mistake long before tonight. With that, I open the door, and the cool night air rushes in, carrying with it the scent of impending rain and the distant sound of chaos. The police officers stand there, their expressions neutral but their presence heavy with authority. I step aside, allowing them to enter, feeling the weight of my decision settle on my shoulders like a shroud. As they move past me, I catch a glimpse of my family, each face a canvas of emotions. Disbelief, anger, fear, and a deep-seated sorrow that binds us together in this moment of fragility. I can't help but feel that I am the architect of this destruction, the one who has brought down the walls we built together. The officers step into the dining room, and the atmosphere shifts again, as if the very air we breathe is now charged with the gravity of the situation. Good evening, one of the officers says, scanning the room. We received a call regarding a potential situation here. My stomach twists as I watch the realization dawn on my family. The laughter that once echoed here now feels like a distant memory, replaced by a silence that wraps around us like a cold embrace. I see Ethan's face fall, the anger giving way to fear as his reality collapses around him. Dad, please, he says, his voice cracking, pleading with me to take it all back. But the moment has passed, and I can't turn back the clock. I stand in the doorway, feeling the weight of my choices pressing down on me. The shadows in the room deepen, intertwining with the flickering candlelight as the police begin their questioning. I am a spectator in my own life, watching helplessly as the family I once knew begins to unravel. The sirens fade into the background, leaving only the sound of my heart beating in my ears, a relentless reminder of the path I have chosen. The night stretches before us like a vast, uncharted territory, filled with uncertainty and shadows, and I brace myself for whatever comes next. The soft glow of the chandelier above flickers like a heartbeat, and for a moment, time stretches thin, taut with unspoken words. The laughter that once filled the room now hangs in the air like a heavy fog, dense with tension. I stand at the threshold, my heart a heavy stone lodged in my chest, watching as the shadows of our family dance on the walls, twisted and contorted by the flickering light. The police sirens blare in the distance, a haunting reminder of the impending storm. Ethan is at the center of it all, still basking in the attention of his family and friends, their laughter echoing off the walls like a mocking refrain. I can see the pride in his eyes, but it feels like a dagger twisted in my gut. My son, my flesh and blood, so blinded by ambition that he can't see the destruction left in his wake. Dad, are you going to stand there all night? Ethan snaps, his voice cutting through the tension like a knife. His words are laced with impatience, a thin veneer over the anger bubbling just beneath the surface. We're celebrating. Join us. But how can I join them in this charade? The scent of roasted chicken and garlic wafts through the air, mingling with the sweet notes of wine and laughter, yet it all feels tainted. I take a step forward, the weight of my decision pressing down on me like a lead blanket. The police are coming, and I can't take it back now. Ethan, I say, my voice steady but low, there's something we need to talk about. The room grows quiet. The festive atmosphere shifts like a tide pulling away from the shore, leaving only the raw, exposed truth. What's there to talk about? He retorts, his bravado faltering for just a moment. I earned this. I worked hard for this promotion. Hard work doesn't justify corruption. I reply, my throat tightening. You know what you did to get here. You can't just sweep that under the rug. My pulse quickens, the urgency of the moment crashing over me like waves against jagged rocks. I can feel the eyes of the family on us, a mixture of curiosity and concern. Dad, you're embarrassing yourself, he says, his tone shifting from anger to dismissal, turning away to face his friends, who are now whispering among themselves, their smiles faltering. This is a celebration, not a place for your lectures. But I can't let it go. I refuse to stand by and watch my son become someone I don't recognize. Ethan, you're playing a dangerous game. You think you're invincible. But what? You'll just call the cops. His laughter rings hollow, a mocking echo that fills the room. You're pathetic. Enough, I shout, the word exploding from my lips like a gunshot. Silence blankets the room, thick and suffocating. I can see the shock in my family's eyes, the disbelief that I would raise my voice in such a setting. But I'm past the point of caring about appearances. The police sirens grow louder, a distant promise of resolution mixed with dread. A part of me wants to bolt, to escape this nightmare, but I can't. I have to stand my ground. The oak table, a symbol of our family unity, now feels like a barricade separating me from the son I once knew. Dad, you don't mean that, Ethan says, his bravado cracking. You wouldn't really do that to me. For the first time, I see the flicker of fear in his eyes, and it pierces through my anger like a blade. I have to protect you, Ethan. This isn't just about you anymore. It's about what you're becoming. My voice softens, but my resolve hardens. The police are coming, and you need to face what you've done. Face what? He scoffs, crossing his arms in defiance. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm a success. Why can't you be proud of me? Proud. The word tastes bitter on my tongue. You think I'm proud of this? Of the lies? Of the deceit? I shake my head, feeling the weight of my words settle heavily on my shoulders. I sacrificed everything for you to have a shot at an honest life. And this is how you repay me? The atmosphere shifts again, charged with an electric tension that crackles between us. The guests, once jubilant, now sit frozen, the weight of our confrontation pulling them into an uncomfortable silence. I can feel their stares, their judgment, but I can't focus on them. My eyes are locked onto Ethan's, searching for a glimmer of the boy I raised. Dad? He begins, but the sound of the sirens crescendos, a clarion call that drowns out his words. The door swings open with a creak, and two uniformed officers step inside, their presence stark and imposing. The bright light from the hallway spills into the dimly lit room, casting long shadows that dance ominously against the walls. My heart races, each beat echoing the tension in the air, a drumroll heralding the reckoning. "Good evening," one officer says, scanning the room with an expression that betrays no emotion. "We received a call regarding a potential incident here." Ethan's face pales, the confidence draining from him as reality crashes in. "What? No, this is a mistake," he exclaims, his voice rising in panic. "I didn't do anything wrong." "Ethan," I say, my voice barely above a whisper, "you have to be honest with them." The officer steps closer, his gaze piercing as he addresses Ethan directly. "Sir, we need to ask you a few questions. Can you explain what happened tonight?" "Nothing happened. It's just a family dinner," he protests, the defiance in his words sounding increasingly hollow. The other officer, a woman with a steely gaze, crosses her arms, her demeanor calm yet authoritative. "We're here to investigate any potential wrongdoing. It's important that we get the facts straight." I watch as Ethan's bravado crumbles, the weight of the moment crashing down upon him. The laughter from earlier feels like a cruel joke now, a facade that can no longer hold under the scrutiny of the law. "Dad, please," he pleads, desperation seeping into his voice. "Don't let them take me away." "Ethan, you have to own up to your choices," I say, my heart breaking for the boy I once knew. "You can't run from this." The officers exchange a glance, and I can see them weighing the situation, assessing the family dynamics at play. I feel a swell of bitterness rise in my throat, a mixture of regret and anger. I wanted to protect my son, yet here we are, standing on the precipice of his own downfall, and the choice I made to call the police feels like a betrayal of my own flesh and blood. "Look, we're not here to punish anyone," the male officer says, his tone shifting slightly. "We just need to understand what's going on. You're not in trouble, but we need to get to the bottom of this." Ethan's eyes dart around the room, searching for support, for understanding, but all he finds are the faces of family members caught in the crossfire of his ambition and my condemnation. I can see the shame creeping into their expressions, and it mirrors the shame I feel within myself. "Come with us, Ethan," the female officer says gently yet firmly. "We need to talk outside." As the officers lead him away, I feel a chasm opening between us, one that may never be bridged. The laughter from earlier fades into a haunting memory, leaving only the echoes of what once was dreams of a brighter future, now shrouded in shadows of betrayal. I stand frozen, the weight of my choices pressing down on me, as the door swings shut behind them. The festive atmosphere has disintegrated, leaving only the stark reality of our fractured family. I glance around the room, meeting the eyes of my family, who now seem like strangers, their faces etched with confusion and disappointment. "Why did you do that?" my sister asks, her voice trembling. "You could have just talked to him and let him continue down this path," I respond, my own voice shaking with the intensity of the moment. "I had to do something." "But calling the police?" she challenges, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Don't you see how this will affect him?" "I had no choice," I shout, my frustration boiling over. "He's lost. He's become someone I don't even recognize." As the argument simmers, I realized the truth that has been lurking beneath the surface. I'm not just fighting for Ethan. I'm fighting for myself, for the man I thought I raised. I'm battling the shadows of my own failures, and the weight of that realization threatens to crush me. The dining room, once a sanctuary of family, now feels like a battleground, each of us grappling with our own demons. The oak table stands resolute, a reminder of our fractured unity, and as the silence stretches, I know that whatever comes next, our lives will never be the same. This is just the beginning of the reckoning, and I can only hope that from the ashes of this night, something new might rise, something that could heal the wounds of betrayal and reclaim the bonds of family. But deep down, I know the path ahead is fraught with uncertainty, and the shadows lurking in the corners of our lives may never fully fade.